On the 11th of August, Pakistan celebrated its National Day of Minorities. Now, on paper, it was a celebration of brotherhood and tolerance in Pakistani society. But in reality, it was yet another day of brutality against minorities, once again in the name of blasphemy. And in case you are wondering how Pakistan does that, let me show you. Have a look at these images. This is how Pakistan is uplifting its minorities. These visuals are from the city of Faisalabad in Pakistan's Punjab province. They show a group of extremists vandalizing a church. Why? Over allegations of blasphemy. Here's what we know so far. On Wednesday morning, hundreds of people armed with sticks and batons stormed a local Christian colony in Faisalabad's Jaranwala area. And here they attacked and set ablaze 6 churches and several adjoining buildings. The churches attacked include the Salvation Army Church, Allied Foundation Church, and Sherunwala Church. Now, these attacks were apparently triggered by the alleged blasphemous actions of 2 local Christians. There is no clarity yet on what blasphemy they committed, but fundamentalists and extremists, you see, do not need clarity. A rumor, a whisper is enough to bring out the vengeance lying below a thin surface. And now have a look at this tweet. It's from the moderator bishop of the Church of Pakistan. He posted several images, in fact, of the extremists attacking the church. Attached was a heart-wrenching caption. It read, and I'm quoting from it, "Words fail me as I write this. We, bishops, priests, and lay people are deeply pained and distressed at the Jaranwala incident in the Faisalabad district in Pakistan. A church building is being burnt as I type this message. Bibles have been desecrated and Christians have been tortured and harassed, having been falsely accused of violating the Holy Quran. We cry out for justice and action from law enforcement and those who dispense justice and the safety of all citizens to intervene immediately and assure us that our lives are valuable in our own homeland that has just celebrated independence and freedom." Those are some strong words there. So what exactly are Pakistani authorities doing about this is the immediate question. Are they doing anything at all, in fact? Well, the Punjab police saying that it has launched an investigation, not action, just an investigation. An investigation that may take up the rest of our lives. And as for Pakistan's leaders, they haven't even acknowledged the incident, leave alone condemning it. This is what Shehbaz Sharif posted today, a tweet condemning the desecration of the Holy Quran in Sweden. What about the desecration of places of worship back home? What about the attack on these 4 churches that unfolded today? We scrolled through his handle. He hadn't even posted one comment on the incident. Why would he? Such attacks, after all, have become a regular affair in Pakistan. Just 3 months back in April, a church in Pakistan's Khokar town came under attack. It was pelted with stones and bricks by a mob of around 40 armed men. In February this year, 2 Christian farmers were killed in Pakistan. One of them was beaten to death by his Muslim landowner. In January, a guava farmer was gunned down for resisting the stealing of fruits from his orchard. He too was a Christian, by the way. He was killed by 3 Muslim youths, and reports say the accused are still walking free. You think that is unforgivable? Then have a look at this report. In the month of April, a 15-year-old Christian girl was kidnapped. She was abducted by a 60-year-old Muslim who later forcibly married her and converted her to Islam. The girl's family says they went to the police, but the cops refused to accept her complaint. And it does not end there. Just last year, A Christian priest was shot dead in Peshawar. What was his crime, you ask? No one knows. The Peshawar police, in fact, has linked the attack to terrorist elements. Even schools run by Christians are under attack. Last year, a school in Pakistan's Sheikhupura city was ransacked by a group of goons, and reports say at least 14 armed men raided the school, tortured the staff and damaged their vehicles. Why is that? Because this school was providing free education to Christian students. And these were just a few instances, by the way. There are many more. The list is long. There are many more stories of horror, many more accounts of atrocities. But you get the point here. The life of Pakistan's Christians has become a living hell. And these numbers tell you the story. In 1998, Christians made up 1.59% of Pakistan's population. In the year 2021, this figure had dropped to just 1.27%. If I speak of literacy, only 35% of Christians in Pakistan are literate, according to an Islamabad-based NGO. And as per media reports, over 80% of Christian family units of 6 to 8 people live in 2-room houses. And let's not even talk about the kind of jobs that they do. To this day, every cantonment city in Pakistan has an area known as Lal Kurti. This is where Christians reside and do odd jobs at the households of the generals. Jobs like laborers, cleaners, farmhands. One report says that 80% of sanitary positions in Pakistan are held by Christians. Have a look at this report. It's from December 2021. Let me quote what this Pakistani newspaper said about Christian workers. The Christian cleaners have kept the sewer system moving in Karachi's enormous port metropolis by unclogging decaying drain pipes of feces and dangerous hospital waste. I could go on with examples of the kind of treatment Christians in Pakistan are subjected to, but the thing here is there is frankly very little that the world can do about it. Time and again, various global bodies have urged Pakistan to treat its minorities better, to punish those who perpetuate crimes against Christians and Hindus. But you see, that is hoping for too much in today's weak, insecure, and radicalized Pakistan. Let's now shift our focus to India. The country is witnessing polar opposite weather conditions. The North Indian state of Himachal Pradesh is facing landslides as a result of heavy rainfall, but in several parts, the monsoon has now gone to below normal. At least 55 people have lost their lives in the state of Himachal Pradesh. Schools remain closed due to the rain fury. On the other hand, states like Bihar and Jharkhand are worst hit by the rain deficit. Why is India witnessing this phenomenon? Our next report telling you the complete story.
Destroyed roads, uprooted trees, cars making their way through roads which resemble rivers. This is the situation in the Indian state of Himachal Pradesh.
You can see it. Landslides are happening all over Himachal Pradesh. This site has been damaged last night. Landslides happened from far away, about 100 meters. 3 cars have been damaged. You can see, we have just recovered a car. The Public Works Department and all the locals here are helping us to remove cars through the cleared roads. The landslide damage is occurring all around Himachal Pradesh.
Officials say the state has seen over 157% surge in rainfall. The Indian Met Department has forecast heavy to very heavy rainfall, and this only spells bad news for the people of Himachal Pradesh, where heavy rainfall, landslides and cloudbursts have already taken away several lives.
Here if you see, possibly a cloudburst occurred during which the railway track and road collapsed. Beneath this building, it is expected that 20 to 25 people are trapped. This is basically the Shiv temple, which is 150 years old. There has been a lot of damage to lives and property. We have recovered at least 4 bodies.
Authorities are unable to find the victims' bodies, while the victims' family members wait to see the remains of their loved ones.
3 members of my family are missing. I request everyone to just find them anyhow and bring them back to us anyhow. Alive or dead, we will accept it. Just hand them over to us. We have been waiting for the last 3 days.
Environmentalists are concerned over infrastructural changes. Although such changes promote an influx of tourists in Himalayan states, they can also make a region ecologically fragile, especially when combined with extreme weather.
We should get the bodies of missing members of a family back. We should get a glimpse of them for the last time and set their souls free. We have no doors left open for us now. We should get their bodies back.
Meanwhile, some parts of India are witnessing below normal monsoon. Reports say that 36% of India's districts have received deficient rainfall. States like Bihar, Jharkhand, Uttar Pradesh and Kerala have been the worst hit. Experts say the El Nino effect has now developed as a coupled system, which means that the heating of the East and Central Pacific Ocean waters is reflecting in the wind patterns. This effect enables the El Nino to impact the weather in different parts of the world. But the Indian Met Department is still hopeful, saying that the second half of August should see better rainfall. Senior IMD scientist D. Sivananda Pai has said, it may not be very strong, but areas along the west coast and peninsular India are expected to get wet weather, along with rainfall in several states in the east and northeast as well as central India. Meanwhile, people in the state of Himachal Pradesh are praying for some relief from the rainfall. Bureau Report, WION World is One.
What would you do if a website did not load right when you clicked on the link? Would you wait? Or would you simply exit the page? Statistics and surveys, various of them, suggesting about 50% of netizens would hit the close button. And this is the latest tactic, it seems, that Elon Musk is using to get back at his critics. Let me explain it to you. X, formerly known as Twitter, is slowing down, allegedly, access to certain websites. It is delaying the opening of various links by 5 seconds. And you know what? People generally abandon a website if it takes more than 3 seconds to load. Interestingly, the targeted links belong to websites that are on Elon Musk's bad side. Let me just name a few of them. New York Times, Reuters, Meta platforms, of course, like Facebook, Instagram, Threads, along with other social networks, Blue Sky and Substack. These are either publications that have critically reported on Elon Musk or X's direct competitors. And you know what this simple delay would actually end up doing? It would take away traffic and reduce ad revenue for businesses Musk personally dislikes. And this petty trick even has a name. It's called throttling. And quite literally, it throttles a website's traffic. Online companies pour millions of dollars into ensuring that their websites open as quickly as possible. And Musk's move is throwing those dollars down the drain. Businesses know that even tiny delays can cause their traffic to plunge, that users would grow impatient and ultimately go elsewhere. 5G is here. Who has the time or even the patience to wait for a website to load? And Elon Musk sure knows his game. It's not entirely clear how long this throttling has been going on for, apparently. But the Washington Post reports that delays to Times articles began on the 4th of August. This was the same day when Elon Musk went on a tirade against the news organization. He even called it a racial genocide apologist. The rivalry has been going on for a while. Musk has berated the news platform as propaganda-driven, called it names, which I cannot say on air, even called for people to cancel their subscriptions. In April, in fact, he removed the verified badge from the news outlet's official account. Viewers were left puzzled which account was real, which was fake. And now comes the throttling. As I told you, the delays also affected X's rivals. Not only was Substack throttled, but links to the social network site were also marked unsafe. And why did this happen? The move, interestingly, came after Substack announced a new feature. It's called Substack Notes. It offers the newsletter authors and their readers a Twitter-like experience. Maybe Musk has become a little too defensive since the arrival of Threads. But has he ever hesitated from using X's technical tools to pursue personal grudges? He has not. In December, Twitter banned an account known as Elon Jet, which tracked Musk's private jet. It also banned journalists who reported on the episode, suspended Mastodon's official account for referring to the account in a tweet. The platform used technical hurdles to stop Twitterati from accessing Mastodon. Just like Substack, it marked Mastodon as unsafe, also blocked users from adding Mastodon links to their profiles. But what was it really unsafe for? Or who was it really unsafe for? The users or Elon Musk's ego? Our next story comes from Iraq. The country's soaring temperatures are making both animals and human beings suffer. We now take you to Baghdad. This is the story of how animals in its only zoo are suffering as a result of the rising temperatures and other factors. Take a look.
This is Baghdad's only zoo. As the scorching summer heat continues to make people sweat, animals in the zoo are suffering as well. The Iraqi capital has been dealing with punishing heat, with temperatures on Monday breaching 50 degrees Celsius for the second day in a row. These Siberian tigers were seen panting incessantly beside a pond at their zoo enclosure. The felines from far eastern Russia are more suited to living where temperatures drop to extremely low levels than in one of the hottest cities in the world.
Most of the animals in the zoo come from hot regions, except for the Siberian tiger, which lives in Alaska and in cold regions where temperatures can drop to minus 20 degrees Celsius and even less.
The zoo's condition only makes things worse.
These cages were built in the 1970s, since 1972 or 73 when the zoo was first opened. Over the past years, some of these cages were rebuilt, but they are not compatible with the international standards.
There are roughly 900 animals here, including lions, exotic birds, bears, and monkeys. Most of these enclosures are open air and suit animals that live in hot climates. But not for animals accustomed to the cold. Efforts have been made to bring in some respite.
We made ponds for some animals like the bears and the tigers that need to swim every day. This water is cleaned and filled every day, so it needs care. We also use air conditioners, which we have in most animal cages.
We provide what we can, from air conditioners to ponds for swimming, in order to tone down the effect of climate change in Iraq. The animals are able to adapt.
According to the United Nations, Iraq is one of the 5 countries in the world most touched by the effects of climate change. Currently, the country is facing its 4th consecutive year of drought. It is unable to provide sufficient electricity to meet domestic needs and faces power cuts that can last up to 10 hours a day.
We had animals dying as 2 weeks ago the electricity shut down for 3 days in Zawara Park, and some animals and birds died.
The lifespan of the animals is shorter compared to other zoos. The zoo's Siberian tigers live for 17 or 18 years, while their counterparts in other zoos have a life expectancy of 20 to 25 years.
If you ask me whether the animals are able to adapt completely with what we are providing, I'd say of course not. The animals are stressed and their life expectancy will be shorter. The Siberian tiger can live in a cage for 20 to 25 years. Here, it only lives for 17 or 16 years because of the heat and climate change.
Bureau Report, WION, Wild is One.
WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the updates on the move.